Hey everyone, Jedi Mike here, and I'm back with another video. Today I'm going to go over the new film by Disney, Mufasa, the Lion King. Now the synopsis of the film goes as follows. Lost and alone, orphan cub Mufasa meets a sympathetic lion named Taka, the heir to a royal bloodline. The chance meeting sets in motion an expansive journey of an extraordinary group of misfits searching for their destiny. Now, this film surrounds with a star-studded cast such as Aaron Pierre, Donald Glover, Mads Mikkelsen, also Blue Ivy Carver, Beyonce's daughter, also John Connie, and also you got the voice of Scar, Kelvin Harris Jr. Now, Aaron Pierre and Kelvin have basically history with each other. They were also MLK and Malcolm X. Really good job with that. Now they're returning in this film as Mufasa and Scar. Now, I have to say that I was pleasantly surprised with this film. This film get brought up in conversations. The one thing that everyone keeps saying, did we really ask for this film? Did we really want this film? Nobody really asked for this film at all, right? But I can tell you I was pleasantly surprised. I was pleasantly surprised by the story more than anything else. But honestly, this film definitely pays homage to the original Lion King story, but also pays tribute to James Earl Jones, really in a very respectful manner. But yeah, you see the story of Mufasa before he becomes the Lion King, along with Scar, as they, how they form their friendship to become brothers, and ultimately, rivals at the end, going into the iconic Lion King story. But it was a beautiful character study. As with prequels, you think that, hey, this is kind of going the same trajectory with seeing how the villain came to be and how the hero becomes who he becomes and stuff in his final form as their, evolved selves. But I think this film did a beautiful job with a story that I feel it definitely was needed during this time. Also for not only adults, but for children as well. With this subject matter, there's some dark tones that happen in this story, but at the same time, it's also motivational and also enlightening that for both an adult and a child can both watch this film and have two completely different experiences. But I think also on a positive note that you have scenes that even though they are dark, adults understand what's going on, but for children it's still safe where that a 12-year-old or even like an 8-year-old kid could probably watch this movie and still be okay, right? But I felt that this film definitely highlighted this ensemble beautifully, definitely with almost the entire cast of the original Lion King coming back for this, and I felt that unlike with the first film, that with the question came in terms of the animation, that there's some scenes here definitely I thought the visual effects were were done very well. And but also, as for me, that was a criticism. I felt that this, as much as this was a great story, it could even be 10 times better if the studio Disney decided they wanted to retell the story in the original 2D animation from Lion King. But again, that's just a personal preference on my point. But after you get through that first, hump in this film, obviously coming from the first film, you basically enjoy the film for what it was, which is the story. And some musical numbers as well are good as well, but it's not the strongest suit. You're really in this film for the story, how these brothers come, become the characters how they become the characters they are in the Lion King, right? How a orphan, how a person that lost their way also rises up to become king. And honestly, I felt that this was again a very, very powerful story that was done well, but really their relationship as brothers was done and written very well by also director Barron Jenkins. He directed this film, I felt, in a way that definitely respects the story of the original Lion King, but also creates something new that I think will be a testament for stories to come in the future. I think that kids will actually go back to watch this film. I will go back to watch this film again, not only because of just I would say the musical numbers and stuff, but really again the story itself, going through talking about ideas about revenge, about loneliness, about family, brotherhood, right? Discovering your own self, your purpose, the talents in yourself, right? But also parenting too, in this film, how highlighting, how a parent can shepherd a child to become who they are, right? And are people born bad, or are they just been dealt with the bad cards in life, or by their choices, the decisions they make, right? And then they can be a byproduct of their environment, or they can be a byproduct of their choices. And there's choices that these characters make that are pivotal to who they are in terms of their character, right? And I felt that we're seeing this trajectory with a lot of films, such as Cruella, such as Maleficent, such as other films that are highlighting the villain stories, in these iconic Disney stories we've known for like decades now. But now we're seeing these characters in a different lens. We haven't seen them before, and I think that that definitely was a major risk that's involved with that. But I think the done well can be executed very in a way that audiences can receive that and learn something new about these characters that they knew forever, right? And when you learn a new perspective, you have definitely a new perspective of Scar. Watching, I have to say this, shout out to Kelvin Harris, because his voice acting. This is another thing too. You have Aaron Pierre, who is the voice of Mufasa, but also have Kelvin, who's the voice of Scar. When he evolves to the character that he is, right? Kelvin does his voice in a unique way where it's similar to how in Transformers 1, how Megatron, how his voice evolved, and you can tell by the exact moment when the character shift to who they become, right? But it's by his voice that was very powerful. But having a British black actor do a British accent very well, but have a British actor voice almost an American voice for Mufasa with Aaron Pierre. Again, I thought they did that very well. But I think it was kind of funny just looking at like, hey, one, you got Aaron Pierre who looks like Scar in real life, but then but he's actually British. But then and Jeremy Irons voiced the original character Scar. But I think again, Kelvin did a really good job in terms of how he elevated this younger version of Scar and to who he became, right? And not only that, as a director, Barron Jenkins, there's certain shots that in this film that definitely struck you as a child, in terms of remembering moments of the original Lion King with these two characters of Mufasa and Scar, and they keep hitting you over the head with it, but in a unique way that kind of just shows the foreshadowing of what's to come, right? But I also have to shout out to how the non-linear storytelling they do, because this is definitely not a direct prequel. Yes, they do flashbacks in terms of the story of Mufasa, but done in a beautiful way, which involves a character of Kiera, voiced by Blue Ivy Carter, which is the daughter of Beyonce. And I have to say she did a really good job, and in terms of her being a very vocal point of the story. But you do get returning characters of Beyonce and also Donald Glover as Simba and as Nala as well. But again, I thought another character, Rafiki. Rafiki was also a very fan favorite of mine in this film, specifically. See how he becomes who he becomes, right? But definitely this is an ensemble story. I think it was a story I didn't ask for, but I'm glad I received it. I give this a strong B+. I do believe this is a film that both parents and children should go see in the theater. But again, this is a film that I had low expectations, wasn't expecting it to be a knockout of the park, but actually was a very, very strong story. I think it's a story that will resonate with audiences when they go see this film on December 20th in theaters. But that concludes my review. Make sure to hit subscribe button, comment, like, and share, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.